I talked several times with my English exam, but I did not give up until I reached the band score. So not only that, in academic that I have a failures, I also have failures with my families. Again, that's part of our struggles and way of motivating yourself to achieve your goals. Because without that failures, I'm not a successful person.
So how many nurses have you already brought here?
A total of 130 families already, because our goal is to help them achieve also the American dreams. Even the international recruitment team of this health system is telling us to recruit more nurses despite of this retrogression, so that if there's a current visibility, they already have the pipeline of nurses in that system.
Welcome to Linguist Access Podcast, where we all get together to learn more about inspiring stories behind every journey that will give you the courage to push past challenges and overcome obstacles, all for God's glory, with your host, Shalini Oritaves.
Hello everyone, welcome to Linguist Access Podcast, where we dive deep into the stories of extraordinary individuals who are making waves in their fields. And of course, I have a very special guest today, not just a doctor, our friend, but like a family member to us, no other than Dr. Ferdinand Flores, also a nurse practitioner here in Florida, United States of America. Good morning, Doc.
Good morning, Sha.
Is there anything I missed in your bio that you want me to talk about?
Very short and simple. Yeah.
Yeah, so Doc, how long have you been in the States?
So we arrived here in 2015 March. So that would be like 10 years this coming March 24.
Wow. But you were working as a doctor back in the Philippines, right?
Yes, I was working there for almost 18 years. I started my career as a family medicine physician as well as a nuclear medicine before coming here to the United States.
Wow. So why did you have to give up being a doctor in the Philippines and work as a nurse practitioner here in the States?
Well, giving up as a doctor back in the Philippines is not like a kind of terminology for me. It's like a growth of my career, not only being a doctor as my profession, but also to advance my career in nursing profession. So the reason why we are here in the US, because we are given the opportunity to get immigrant visa by working as a nurse here in the United States.
So can you imagine that? He is a doctor in the Philippines and also a nurse. So can you imagine how he's taking care of all his patients here in the States? He's a doctor, he's a nurse, and now he's a nurse practitioner. And so, Doc, are you happy with the decision that you made?
Oh, I don't have any regrets at all. I'm so happy that we are given this opportunity. Of course, with this land of the free, a lot of opportunities that we were not able to achieve back home in the Philippines.
So, Doc, what was your greatest failure when you were in the Philippines?
The greatest failure I have in the Philippines when we were there is that I was not able to serve our community itself in Samar. That's the one that I consider as my failure, because I choose to work in southern Leyte instead of northern Samar. So that's what I consider as a failure for me.
So, do you have any plans to go back there once you have an opportunity to, serve your community?
Yes, I have a plan, maybe few years from now, to serve more in that specific area that I was not able to serve more. But even though if I did not serve in the community, there's some families or friends, or even not friends from us, who are reaching us, my wife, to help them with their medical problem.
So what you don't know is that Dr. Ferdy is a nurse practitioner here, but he also owns an agency. His agency is mainly about sending nurses from the Philippines or any part of the world to come to the US. And I'm just curious, Doc, how did you start with this?
So our company is Advanced USRM. We don't have any plan at all. in putting up our own agency.
Mhm.
So we started here, you asked me a while ago, back in 2015. We were also helped by some of our Filipino nurses in Tallahassee. They are the one who helped us starting our life in the United States. We pay it forward every time there are some nurses, family that arrive in Tallahassee. I myself, my wife are the one helping them together with other Filipino nurses to start their own life, like finding their apartment. They're having a medical exam with their kids, looking with their license in the Florida Bureau of Nursing, even pick them up in the airport once they arrive. That's one way of paying forward. So with that experience that we have, when we transferred from Tallahassee to the land because of this COVID, we were given the opportunity by one of the health system in Florida that they really need nurses. So one of our friend in the land, Florida, reached out to me and to sit down with the CEO of this health system, and that's where we started this advanced USRN agency.
So it's not also a bed of roses. There are challenges behind it. So can you talk about some challenges bringing nurses from the Philippines or from other parts of the world and then coming here?
Yes, a lot of challenges, but that challenges gives us more foundation in order for us to give them a great service that we can provide for these nurses. First, of course, most of the nurses, we don't know them, but some of them are our friends and colleagues back in our hometown in Tacloban City. They trusted us. We screened them based on their clinical experience. It's really hard for me to turn down nurses, especially if they have families, like they have 3 children, 2 kids, and they don't have any experience at all. It's very challenging for me to say no, because our goal is to help them achieve also the American dreams.
So how many nurses have you already brought here?
So as of now, we just pick up 3 families in Orlando, Florida airport, a total of 130 families already.
130 families. So right now, is there a need for nurses here?
Yes, there's still a need, and even the international recruitment team of this health system is still telling us to recruit more nurses despite of this retrogression. They will not stop hiring nurses so that when the immigration or if there's a current visibility, they already have the pipeline of nurses in that system.
Now, I want to be more personal with my questions, Doc, because I think we're into a professional level, what you do for a living and all of this. Now, on a personal note, Doc, what was your greatest failure? Not as a doctor, but in your life? Like, would you say, there was any problem you encountered in the past that, this is something that I should have given up, but, I was able to sustain it. I was determined and I'm here. Because some people, they talk about their problems like a family or they have suffered an illness in the past. And so did you have any personal struggle back in the days that you could have given up, but you're here?
Oh, that's a really tough questions. It's very personal questions that I really need to think. Again, failure for me is a way of my success, that's my motivation. So even when I started with my medical technology career, I already have a failure. Okay, in that career, I was not able to practice well. So that what could be considered for me as a failure. Personal failure, I would say.
I think he doesn't have any failure. Personal, yeah.
I'm not just take one. Taking a test like in. Yeah, some of us have a failures in that way. But again, if I have some failures, that's one way of my motivation for me to achieve my goal. Because without that failures, I'll not be a successful person.
So those kind of failures in life, a doctor was talking about failing some examinations. And I think you are watching right now, whoever you are, you may be struggling, you may have failures in life, but you see doctor.
I never give up.
You never gave up.
For example, I talked several times with my English exam. but I did not give up until I reached the band score. So not only that in academia that I have failures, I also have failures with my family, something like that. But again, that's part of our struggles and way of motivating yourself to achieve your goals.
So by and large, giving up was not an option for Dr. Ferdy. Now then, I have to ask another question, Doc. If you would ask yourself, like at the moment, would you consider yourself successful?
Right now, yes, of course. At my level, I'm already successful in every aspect of my life. Career-wise, family, despite of all these challenges and struggles. But again, I consider myself successful with my wife, of course, with what I have done to my fellow Filipino nurses. Because I'm telling them, your success is also our success.
And so you think, Doc, that, you said you were successful. Can you define to us what success is?
Success for me is when you help somebody and become successful. That's where I define myself as success. Achieving a goal. In every person, there's always a goal. When you reach that goal, then you consider yourself a successful person.
Can you give us an example of a client of yours, a nurse here, whom you would say now a successful and individual here in the U.S.? Like, you had your success, and what about the nurses that you brought here? Can you just maybe talk about one or two people that, the experience that they had, the challenges, and then now they're here and they're successful?
So among the nurses that we have with advanced USRM, I said there are like 130 of them. Once they receive their visa and stamp in their passport, that's already successful for me. That they already have, not only for the nurse, but for the husband and the entire family. And once they came here and we met them personally, they work in the hospital, permanent work, permanent job. They have their brand new car, they have their brand new house, living together with their family. That would be my consideration as success in my life. Like, for example, right now I have here with me, some of us here in Cococay in Bahamas. I have here with me like Chona and there I would just
Febs.
Febs is a very successful mother, of course, of all her, of all her hard work, of all her sacrifices. She has 3 children ranging from 12, 4, and 10 years old.
And
they came together
wow,
to have a better life in America. They have their brand new car, they have her brand new house with a permanent job. So
very nice.
Say more.
Yes, and you're from where? Before you came here in the U.S., Febs, you worked which country? Are you from the Philippines, or directly?
Saudi Arabia, they stopped for 4 years.
Saudi Arabia.
Full time.
Yeah. So for how long?
For 10 years.
And then what about Chona?
I worked also in Saudi Arabia for 7 years. Then I went back to Philippines while applying my NCLEX review. Then while reviewing, I built my own business.
What kind of nurse are you in now?
I'm in ICU, assigned in ICU.
And Febs is also a medical surgical nurse. So, we are here in the U.S. and we are working in this profession, and we are really making a difference because the nurses that you have here, I would have to say, the nurses that Filipino nurses are well experienced. I'd like to ask Febs, as Febs worked in Saudi Arabia for 10 years, and I'm just curious. I know that Dr. Ferdy said that she's happy living here, but I want to hear it straight from the horse's mouth. Now, Febs, did you ever regret coming here?
No. No regrets.
And by the way, as I was also hearing it from Febs is not just a nurse, but she's also a preceptor here in the U.S. So she's training nurses, which really makes us very proud because the skills that she has, she does not just keep it to herself, but she's also sharing it. And she's equipping a lot of nurses, especially the novice. So thank you so much, Febs, for that. Going back to Dr. Ferdy, I think right now you just told us that there is still a need for nurses in the U.S., but with the Trump being the president now, do you think you're going to have problem bringing nurses in the US?
In my own opinion, based on his speech, I don't see any problem at all bringing nurses in the United States. He even reiterate that he wants legal immigrants like nurses with higher educations. As long as you have your higher educations and you are qualified with all these requirements with the individual, I don't think so that this will affect them and applying in the United States.
So if you are a nurse here, if you work as a nurse before, imagine you are a doctor in the Philippines and then you work as a nurse here. What was the greatest challenge, Doc, that you really, I don't want to say, you chose to be in a lower level, but it's something that's new to you. What was the challenge being a nurse in the US?
Yes, it's a very challenging. It's a new level of challenge that in my being a doctor, then transitioning to a nurse is very challenging. Again, it's not the lowest, profession, but again, it's really the highly regarded profession that we're supposed to, give appreciation for being a nurse. Being a nurse here with one-on-one with a patient, you really take care of them, compassionately. So you really give them the time to talk. You really give them more, good listening of what they are feeling. Unlike of being a doctor, that you will just go there for the medical examination, you do the history, you do the orders and everything. As a nurse, you carry out all those orders. You explain to the nurses and to their families. And of course, if the patient has a lot of concerns, I'm always the first person that they will need to call in order for me to relay to their provider. I don't consider myself from being a doctor going down to be a nurse because a lot of people here who are in the nursing profession, they will understand how hard work, how dedicated, how determined we are in taking care of our patients. It's really life-changing for us, taking care of, you don't know who they are, but no race, discrimination at all. But again, you just do your job, you love your job, and enjoying what you're doing.
So that's a first-hand experience, not just from a doctor, but also a nurse. Now, last but not the least, of course, any future plans, Doc, in your life? Maybe personal, in your business?
So personal-wise, out of this time, while doing with our business and with my profession being a psychiatric nurse practitioner, our future is like, earning more, saving more, so that once we achieve our goal, we need to have a better retirement of a farm in the Philippines, but still, we need to go back and forth here in the US because, life here in the US is a lot of privileges, not only being elderly, but when it comes to the health system, we are still the number one.
What's your advice, by the way, to those listener or viewers we have right now, Doc? Maybe not a nurse or any kind of, what do you think would be the best advice?
So the best advice that I can share to them is that make your failure as your motivation in order for you to achieve your goal. Don't just be failed and quit. Never quit. Never give up. Because that's only your way of achieving your success. So for those of you who are still thinking of what profession to get in the future, I would advise is to take up nursing.
That's your visa coming here.
To come here with an immigrant visa. And then in the future, once you are an American citizen, you can petition your parents, you can petition your siblings, and then together with your family, you are gonna be staying here happily ever after.
So this time, Doc, the inflation in the Philippines, everything is just so expensive. They're complaining about even sending their kids to high school or college because it's just exorbitant. Like the amount of money that you have to spend for education, that's too much. So how are they going to spend for that? I mean, how they're going to send their kids to school, considering the fact that it's just so expensive everywhere?
Ako, personally, I would advise, sa mga kapwa natin Pinoy na gusto yung mga anak nila mag-aral sa nursing. There are a lot of state universities, even in Samar. Mayroon pong mga school doon na public universities na nag-offer ng College of Nursing.
Oh.
So a lot of universities in the Philippines, like in Northern Samar, we have one. University of the Philippines. There's also at Balogan City, there's a university that offered College of Nursing, even in Eastern Samar, even in Southern Leyte, even in other places, other region. State University is
That's correct.
effective College of Nursing.
That's correct. And I would say also, I heard that Mindanao State University, that's in Iligan, they're also giving good education for nurses, but you don't have to spend a lot of money for that. And yes, it is expensive. You will go through private education. Because for me, I remember back in the days, I think I spent more than $1 million for me to be sent to a nursing school. But then again, now you have an option coming from the doctor who actually been a scholar, both for medical technologies, doc, being a doctor, and nurses. Were you?
For my College of Nursing, I paid by myself because it's a private school.
Okay. But for your being a doctor, doc, you avail of the...
But again, it's my parents who send us in a private school. That time,
We have a
knowledge of medicine is still affordable. But with the hard work of my parents, I sent it to the College of Medicine.
But you have an option. You can go to some state universities. Ask, you'll never regret it. Coming here as a nurse, you'll never regret it. And so again, thank you very much for watching. And is there anything that you want to say to our audience before we're going to end this interview?
I'm so grateful for giving me a chance to have an interview. I'm so thankful, Shalani. And of course, I would like to thank all the nurses who trusted us from day zero until now. They're still with us, helping each other, not only for me, but for those who are still coming. They're answering their queries, their questions about transitioning from day zero to the time that we will take off with their career. So I'm very thankful with them. Again, salamat sa paniniwala. At of course, until now, nandito kami, tumutulong pa rin kami sa kanila. Even finding their new house. My wife is a realtor. We help them. Not only for, dahil sa gusto namin, but achieve their American dream.
And everyone's dream is not just to be here, but to own a home here. Because now that we are here, this is our new home.
Thank you for listening to Linguist Access Podcast. Please give us a review on iTunes. Leave a comment. Like, share, and subscribe. See you on the next episode.